Hi everyone, I'm Reading with Jack and today I'm here with my June wrap-up, July to be read pile and a giveaway. So I've got so much stuff to get through in this video, it's going to be crazy. I'll talk about the giveaway at the end, but I will start with the actual video that I want to do, which is the June wrap-up to start with. So I'm going to talk about the books that I read. I read a total of 3 books, which isn't fantastic, but I wasn't reading throughout the entire month. I had my A-level exams in the first half of the month, I was revising for them, it was stressful and horrible, I didn't read anything, but then I tried to get back into reading after them, and initially it was hard to get back into reading for some weird reason. I thought I'd be really enthusiastic, but I wasn't really motivated. The first book that I read was probably not the best one to start off with, to be honest, because it wasn't amazing as I was hoping, and I feel like it kind of got me into not really a reading slump, just kind of a demotivational reading period. And the book that I'm talking about is Wool by Hugh, Howey. It's the first book in the Silo trilogy and I gave it a 3 out of 5. What I really liked about this was the concept of the entire story, the fact that humanity is preserved in silos, it's different levels of society, everyone has to do a different thing for everything to function, certain levels abuse their power, and there are basically quite a lot of characters who are not conforming to the rules. They want to fight against this. It's a dystopia, it's quite intense. I definitely felt like towards the second half it was a page turner. It was intense and gripping and I really appreciated that. And I just thought the whole thing was very unique. It was quite intriguing. My main problem was that some of the execution wasn't perfect. For example, initially I feel like the world building was not that great, to be honest. It was a little bit confusing to start off with. I couldn't really picture things. I also feel like the characters could have been a lot more well developed, because I didn't hate any of the characters, but I didn't love them either, and I really struggled to connect with them because there wasn't enough development. Basically, the point of view and the main focus of the different characters keeps shifting throughout the book, and I felt like it didn't allow for enough time to fully connect with any of the characters. You know, as I started to connect with them, it suddenly moved on to someone else. I understood why there was different point of views, and it was definitely interesting to see different characters' thoughts, but at the same time it just didn't really work in terms of connecting with the characters. So it was an enjoyable read overall, just a little bit disappointing in a few aspects. The second book that I read was Hollow City by Ransom, and this is the second book in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series, or trilogy, and I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5. This was amazing, everyone. You have to read this trilogy if you haven't already started it, because it's just perfect. It's so good. I absolutely loved reading this book. What I really loved about it was the character development. There was much more of it in this book than the first book, particularly with the peculiar children. I started to understand their motives behind everything, and they have different powers as well, and different kind of things they can do that are really magical and crazy. And you got to see how these powers affected their actions. There's a lot more action in this book for definite, and because of that you just really see what the characters are doing, how they react to different situations. The writing style is beautiful, it's lyrical and poetic. I think it's just vivid and amazing, really. Some great symbolism and imagery. I also really love the creative dimension to this book. It's got to be one of the most creative books I've ever read, because there are pictures throughout that are creepy and vintage, and they just work so well. They're not just there for the sake of pictures being there, they actually enhance the book. The story is structured around them, it works perfectly. It's just seamless and so enjoyable to read. The only thing that stopped me from giving it a 5 out of 5 was the fact that the ending kind of confused me for some reason. I'm just a little bit conflicted as to if the ending is perfect or not. For some reason I still can't decide. So there's something in the back of my head saying it cannot be a 5 out of 5, but it's a 4.5 out of 5, my favourite book of the month. The final book that I read this month was For, a Divergent collection by Veronica Roth, and I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. It was really enjoyable to read something from Tobias's point of view, or For, whatever you want to refer to him as. I just really loved his way of thinking. I loved the focus on his identity as well, and what it meant to be part of the faction that he's part of. It was always very enjoyable, but there were definitely parts where I felt like some of the information revealed wasn't entirely necessary. I feel like for intense fans of the series, they will really like it and really appreciate learning this information. But to be completely honest, I'm a bit all over the place with the Divergent trilogy. I love the first book, but the other 2 books weren't as good for me. And because of that, I'm not really an intense fan, and I just felt like some of it didn't really add to my overall understanding of the trilogy, but it was still an enjoyable read, just not wow. You know, there was nothing wow about it as such. I just feel like it was just kind of something they'd published just to kind of sell more copies, which is fine. You know, I don't mind publishers doing that, and it's nice to have some extra information, but didn't really add that much overall to the entire trilogy, but I still love the characters and the writing style and everything was still really good. So now let's move on to my July to be read pile. I have to say I was really struggling deciding what books to read in July because recently I've been having a huge problem deciding what to read next. I have such a big selection to go at that I really struggle to decide. And also I'm actually going on holiday in the first 2 weeks of this month, and I don't know how much I'm going to read then, so I don't really know how much to put on my to be read pile. And also that does mean I won't have any videos for the next 2 weeks. I'm really sorry everyone, because I already abandoned you for months when I was doing my exams, and it's happening again. But I promise that once I'm back, I will be back, and I will not leave again. I will do so many videos and you will all enjoy them. So the first book that I want to read is perhaps the scariest book, and I don't even really know if I'm going to even read it because I feel like I'm procrastinating even mentioning it in this video, because I feel like if I mention it I have to read it now, but I really want to read it, so I suppose it's kind of a form of persuasion, and it is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the first book in the Kingkiller Chronicle trilogy. I really need to read this finally because so many people have been talking about it, and I was very hesitant to put it on my to be read pile, but then I watched a lot of reviews and they made it sound so good. Thank you BookTube for persuading me, because the main character Kavov sounds so intriguing. He sounds very arrogant, so I'm not sure if I'm going to like him, but he sounds so complex, so mysterious. I've heard great things from every single person that's read this. A lot of people say it's quite complex to keep up with, some of the language and stuff, but I think it's time to read it. I think I should try and read it at least. Even if I don't read the entire book this month, and I have to keep switching between different books and taking breaks, I definitely want to start it, so please persuade me in the comments to keep reading because I need your support. I'm sure it's going to be great, but obviously big fantasy books are a little bit scary and intimidating, so I will try my best. The next book that I would like to read is Marina by Ruiz Zafón, and this is the one that I was definitely going to put on my to be read pile this month. I am sure I want to read this. Obviously I've read Ruiz Zafón before, and I know that I like his stories, so I feel like it's quite a safe read and it's going to be very mysterious and dark. I talked a lot about it in my book haul, which I did a few days ago, so definitely check that out if you want more information. I will probably do a book review on this later in the month because a lot of people in the book haul when I was showing it seemed to comment on this book. I think everyone seems very interested in it, so I will definitely read this and review it later on. The next book that I would like to read is The Young Elites by Marie Lu. This is another YA fantasy, and I'm really looking forward to this as well. Again, the main character, Adelina, sounds very complex. She sounds very different and unique compared to a lot of YA heroines. I know it's not meant to be as good as Legend, and that's fine because Legend was really good, so this is still going to be good, and I'm definitely looking forward to an intense, gripping read. The final book that I want to read is one that I'm not entirely certain if I will get around to. It depends how much I read when I'm on holiday and stuff, but I will put it on my to be read pile anyway. It is The Giver by Lois Lowry. Everyone in the book haul was saying amazing things about this. A lot of you have read it for school and really enjoyed it, and I think that means a lot because a lot of people that read books for school don't really enjoy them because of the studying and over-analysis, I guess. So if people really enjoyed it when they were studying it, it must be a very good book. I would also perhaps like to buy the DVD and see the book to movie adaptation as well, and perhaps do a video where I'm comparing the two. That might be quite interesting. Let me know if you want that. I also just want to mention that for my July to be read pile at the end of the month, it's going to be the booktubeathon, and this year I really want to take part, so any of the books that I don't read that I've already said, I might add them into my to be read pile for that if it fits. However, I'm going to do a separate video towards the end of the month when that starts with my to be read pile and all the challenges and stuff. I'm very excited for the booktubeathon because I've never done it before. So the final thing I'm going to be talking about today is of course the giveaway that I mentioned at the beginning, and it's a really exciting giveaway. It's not actually hosted by me, but I was requested to talk about it, and I believe some other booktubers are going to be mentioning as well in their videos. It's actually hosted by the Grow Wealth series. The giveaway is actually for The Sword and Its Servant, which is a young adult dark fantasy novel, and I know a lot of you are interested in that, so I felt like I would talk about this today and allow you to win prizes. And basically I'll link all the things down below in the description so you can find what it's about in a little bit more detail, but I've read about it and it sounds really good. It sounds very gripping and intense, so definitely the kind of thing that's going to interest you all. The giveaway will award one grand prize winner with a Kindle Fire 7-inch HD and a Kindle copy of The Sword and Its Servant. There'll also be 5 first prize winners which will win an autographed copy of the book as well, so even if you don't win the Kindle, which is obviously amazing, you will also perhaps be able to win a book, so chances are there for everyone. on. Definitely enter it if you're interested in this book. It sounds like a great offer. The giveaway will run from the 1st of July to the 31st of July of this year, and it's open to residents of the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia and Ireland. So if you live in any of those countries, you can of course take part. All you have to do to enter is visit the webpage, which I'll link down below. It's growwell.com/jack. And then you just need to enter a valid email address. You don't have to pay for anything or purchase anything. You just enter your email address, and then if you win, you'll be contacted on the 3rd of August by email. So that's it for today's video, everyone. So thank you so much for watching. As I said, I'm going to be on holiday for the next 2 weeks, so I won't have any videos, which is of course a shame. However, I will hopefully have internet when I'm there, so I'll be on Twitter, Goodreads and Instagram in particular. I'll be updating my reading progress, so if you want to keep up with me and talk to me on there, you absolutely can. There just won't be any videos, so I'm apologising for that, but I'll be back in 2 weeks and I'll make videos again. So thank you for watching, everyone, and I will see you all again when I'm back in my next video.